So I've never really talked about AVGN all that much, for pretty good reason. I mean, what more could be said about him? At the high point of his popularity, a lot of people were trying to copy his style, but there was one guy who managed to do quite the opposite and still pull in quite the following. I padded out this video long enough, so let's just begin. Derek Alexander, formerly known as the Happy Video Game Nerd, began creating content in 2008 as one half of an Alaskan-based electronic synth-pop band known as Starship Amazing. Derek then began to make videos around the same year of the first reviewer boom. You know, back when everyone was desperately trying to copy the nerd style of reviewing.
I don't give a shit about this fucking kid. He can go kill himself for all I care.
What a glorious time to be on YouTube. The old days. Though he was partnered up with RetroWare TV, he uploaded most of his stuff on YouTube as well. And while everyone else was really doing the same angry reviewer shtick that the nerd was doing, Derek, he was different. He completely spun the de jure reviewing style onto its head by being overly positive about the games he was talking about, but not going into the usual classics that a lot of gamers talked about back then. Instead, preferring to talk about some of the more obscure gaming gems that were forgotten.
It may be old and a little unpolished, but it's that good kind of unpolished game. It's that poorly recorded, poorly EQ'd punk rock classic of an NES game. How appropriate it starts with Clash. And by the way, yes, this is that Clash at Demon Head. Scott Pilgrim just got that much cooler. And who is that making a cameo in the Scott Pilgrim game? We'll talk about him in a few minutes.
Unfortunately for Derek, many people just wrote him off as some weird bizarro clone of the AVGN, and they were quite vocal about it, but I don't think that Derek gushing over games in an exaggerated manner was similar to how Rolf bashed games in an exaggerated manner. And while yes, he did focus on just the positives of a game, he would also point out any negative aspects of a game's design if it felt necessary, rather than just trying to force negativity. But I think the reason why everyone thinks that Derek was just a clone was due to him entering and winning Game Trailer's Out Nerd the Nerd contest. In that review, he lifted a lot of James' mannerisms and even made a positive rendition of the angry video game nerd theme.
Had enough with games that you hate. Let's talk about some games that are great. I'd rather let the people know about the underrated classics of old.
Whether or not he was doing it in earnest or just to be facetious is, I don't know, it's just left up to your interpretation. But from what I've heard, James Rolfe actually liked Derek's work. In fact, he even subscribed to him for a short time. So I doubt he cared as much as his loyal fan base did that he was a clone or not. Derek would later drop ties with RetroWare TV to focus on uploading content strictly to YouTube around 2013 or 2014. After moving from Anchorage to Seattle in that same year, he would later drop his Happy Video Game Nerd title in place of Stop Skeletons from Fighting. And though he changed his name, he still stayed true to his positive outlook on the gaming industry in all of his current videos. And from what I hear, I think he still keeps contact with his old bandmates even after being in a 3-year-long hiatus. And so that was Derek Alexander, a breath of fresh air in a medium that at a time was really stale and derivative. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.